Okay, here we go. Welcome in, everybody. It is the gut reaction episode. It's the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. And Zack, each and every time we take the microphone, we are Broncos country's football priests. We're here to offer the absolution and the answers to not only the burning Broncos questions, but sometimes we got to help put things in perspective. You know, the big football existential questions. Occasionally, Zack, that includes exercising a demon or two. All right. The Broncos Bo Nix era officially begins with a bit of a whimper. Zack, what is your gut reaction to the Broncos coming up short 26-20 in Seattle?
I got to say it in the interest of sportsmanship. I know I'm going to get trolled either way, but Seahawks played a better game. Seahawks were better in the second half, and the Seahawks deserve this victory. Bo Nix, he's a rookie that played like a rookie, and I'll eat some crow. I didn't think he'd come out looking this much like a rookie in week one, Chad, but tough environment, tough opponent week one. I think he'll get better as time goes on, and in the second half, there were a few glimmering hopes, but yeah, not the best game from Bo Nix, not the best play calling, most inspiring play calling from Sean Payton, in my opinion. And on the defensive side of the ball, they played really well in the first half, Chad, really tight. Second half, you saw the old VJ warts begin to surface again, the run defense, the third down conversions, the linebackers in coverage. A little bit of the same old Broncos, but I'm still not undeterred from believing that it's a new era with Bo Nix.
I will concur with you 100% that Bo Nix is a rookie. Didn't expect him to look this much like a rookie in game one based on what we'd seen. However, and these are a couple of huge caveats that Broncos country really needs to keep in perspective here, okay? Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks head coach and play caller, called an amazing game to stymie a rookie quarterback, whether it's Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, anybody, and that is zone, 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 zone. And they stuck to it, and they were very creative with his play calls. It completely stymied Nix, made him think a few synapses more than he's used to, and that Sean Payton would prefer him to have to think from the pocket. It's things he hasn't seen before, all right? That's caveat one. Caveat two, Zack, I don't know. I honestly, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, I can't remember the last time I saw a defense that smothering in terms of ball is completed, tackle, no yards after the catch, 0 yards after the catch. Like, and not just in the first quarter or generally speak, front to back there. So all the little dunks and dinks and stuff that you would think in a normal game, hey, maybe Zack, all you need is say 15%, 20% of those to pick you up a few extra yards. All right, here and there, not every single dink and dunk, but you're betting on that as an NFL team. You're betting on some of those little short passes. The guy makes a guy miss, boom, picks up those yards. You did not see that at all. So that's not me saying that Bo Nix didn't get help from his receivers. That's me saying the Seahawks basically played about as perfectly defensively as you could expect or hope if you were a Seahawks fan.
Yeah, 100% agree. Mike Macdonald was a great DC in Baltimore, and he really had a great game plan for Bo Nix. Showed Bo a lot of things that Bo did not see in preseason. Going back to the play calling, though, you mentioned the dinks and dunks. I just don't like the horizontal east and west style of play calling, Chad. I understand you want to get his completion percentage up and get him into a rhythm, but throw the ball down the field. Attack the middle of the field. Where was Greg Dulcich until the second half? Where were, some of the plays we saw in preseason? My other takeaway is, it might be an overreaction, I do think the Broncos need another playmaker on both sides of the ball. And by playmaker, I mean an elite, no doubt, superstar playmaker on offense and on defense. I think they're short and lacking with that.
I would definitely say they're missing that stud running back. And you saw that, how having that favored the Seahawks in the second half. Completely different complexion to the game when they got Walker rolling, and just that twitch and that explosion and that just, I'm sorry, man, it's just not there anymore with Javonte. It's just not there anymore. And you got to love Jalil's twitch and his explosion. Like, he is the most, his explosiveness after he secures the ball on a handoff, boom. From what we've seen, he is the best for the Broncos, but he's small. You can't give it to him 15, 20 times a game without him something bad happening either to him or like we saw late in the game, that very costly fumble. So yes, I agree with you. The Sean Payton, the Broncos offense, rushing wise, you think, hey, let's try and take some pressure off of Bo Nix. I mean, you saw how it worked in the second half for the Seahawks. The Broncos smothered the snot. I mean, lived in Seattle territory through the entire first half, despite the ups and downs of Bo Nix in the offense. But once they were able to, the Seahawks, get the running game going, even modestly, kaboom, opens up the passing game. And that's the model, guys. It's not rocket science. It is, however, Zach, easier said than done. That's what Sean Payton was trying to get going. But the O-line, a combination between the O-line, the backs, and then how well Seattle's defense was executing today, Broncos could get nothing going.
Yeah, and by the second half, the defense was worn down. And that's why I don't want to crap on too much, VJ, too much. There were still problems with the run defense and old issues that we saw, but they put up a valiant fight in the first half. And just like last season, Chad, and a lot of spots are in the Fangio years, when the defense is on the field for too long, eventually the dam is going to break, and it broke in the second half with the Seahawks rushing game.
Real quick, I'm just doing a microphone check here. Scott's saying, oh, you're right. Scott, you were right. Stand by, gang. Stand by. You were right. My mic came undone. Sounding like the microphone's coming through my. There we go. Now I'm going to sound like me. There we go. Zach's having, yeah, exactly. The HDMI on mic on Zach's mic. Unfortunately, for this episode, we're having some tech difficulties on it. Thanks. I should have checked that earlier, Scott. Thanks, buddy. Let's see what Broncos fans. Let's get to some super. See how everybody's feeling. We want to help you put things in perspective here. David Wilder, what's up, brother? Thank you for the super to have you here for the first gut reaction of the regular season. He says, I can't say that I'm not disappointed, but this is only Bo's first game. There will be growing pains for sure. Hashtag Bo leave. Denver Broncos for life. MHH for life. Honestly, Zach, the best way to distill how I feel about this, my read on this, is this right here. Of course, we're disappointed, right? We expected and hoped to see better, not only from the team, but specifically the destiny of this team is always and forever inexorably connected to the quarterback. So this team's only going to go as far as Bo Nix can take them this year, all right? We expected more from Bo Nix in game one, but it was also, Zach, a nice little reality check, not only for Bo Nix this week, but for everybody to go, okay, yeah, despite the 61 starts and the 24 years old and all this, he's still a rookie. The spaces are different in the league. The players are faster. I mean, you saw it wasn't an arm strength thing, guys. It was just a couple of synapses. It was a reads thing. It was a decision making thing where his eyes, and then he'd throw, and the distance was gone by then, whatever window the receiver had created. So I really, it's some people, Zach, maybe don't want to hear it right now. They want to revel in whatever anger and here we go again mentality that a lot of fans are feeling right now. But I got to tell you, pump the brakes on that. Don't go freaking out quite yet.
Yeah, and a lot of Broncos fans that weren't high on Bo Nix are going to use this as confirmation bias to say, hey, look, he's actually not that good after all. This is why he should have been a second-round pick. But I concur with what David said. Give him time. First start, really tough environment. He will get better.
Patriot Tex, what's good? He says, I wanted to believe, but I should have known better. This team lacks playmakers. Cutting Tim Patrick looks stupid. The running backs and O-line got zero push. Bo looked like a deer in the headlights. Yikes, this is bad. Yeah, I mean, it is a rookie. And again, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't expect to see better from Bo Nix, but there were signs, there were things that give me encouragement that we can get into maybe here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, what did Sean Payton say when he was coming out of halftime, coming back onto the field for the third quarter? Sideline reporter grabs him. Hey, coach, said, look, I think he's played well so far. We've had some drops. There were a couple of, unfortunately, in the first half and in the second, some unfortunate drops. All right. Not only that, Zach, but he goes, we need to focus on getting the running game going. If you can get that running game going, that's going to be the key to helping Bo Nix shorten and minimize whatever that trial and error learning curve is. But the biggest takeaway for me on this, Zach, and then I'm serving it back, Riptide going, Sean Payton on the hot seat, Bo's a deer in the headlights, is this, okay? This was lesson number one, taught like a true professor by Mike McDonald, of this is what zone defense looks like in the league. Rook, how does Sean Payton and his staff help coach and teach Bo Nix through this losing experience? That will be crucial.
Yeah, and as you saw in preseason and training camp, Bo Nix is really good with overcoming adversity. But to the previous comment with Patriots X, I understand the freaking out. I understand it's not what you wanted to see from Bo Nix and the Broncos in Week 1. But Tim Patrick wouldn't have made a difference in this game. They don't need a Tim Patrick. They need a Christian McCaffrey. They need a true elite, preferable running back playmaker that can catch passes, that can score a touchdown at any point on the field. They don't have a guy that can really do that, Chad.
They do not appear to. And even Audric Estime comes in his first carry, beautiful, right up the gut, leaps over a defender, and then boop, ball comes out. Thankfully, Broncos fell on that. But there's a glimmer of hope, maybe, in Estime, but you could see how quickly that scared the daylights out of the Broncos. They immediately pulled him out of the game. So Estime, he showed, unfortunately, Zach, a little bit of a penchant for that in the preseason too. So that's something they got to get a handle on, or else the whole pick and hope and all the expectations, the 5th round investment in Audric Estime, will be for naught. Tom up in Canada, north of the 49th parallel. What's up, brother? He says, I'm hoping this is just first game jitters for Bo. If not, we're going to have a long, long season. Thanks, boys. Keep up the great work. Johnny Not Bravo jumping in with the super. What the heck was this play calling, Zach? This is something that you've hammered on a few times already in our conversation. The play calling. Lady D with a very generous super jumping in. Love you, Deanna. She says, hey, Chad, Zach, and Scott. Man, I really wanted a win here. I lost a bet. I think Bo will get rid of his jitters by next week. Second half, offensive line needs to step up too. Still believe in Bo. Hashtag MHH for life. Guys, I got to tell you, it's a rookie. Shame on any of us for losing any faith and belief in Bo Nix and Sean Payton because of one game. Maybe, Zach, shame on us, you and I, for perhaps being, I don't know, too confident, too optimistic. I don't know. Maybe we contributed to establishing the expectations a little bit high. I don't think so. I mean, there is a reason the Broncos made Bo Nix, Zach, the first rookie team captain since 1967 and the first rookie starting quarterback since John Elway in 83. Trust a little bit here, okay? Trust just a little bit. Rookie jitters, whatever you want to call it, they'll learn from this.
And thank you so much, Deanna. As always, it's incredible. And we also said, Chad, not to pump the brakes too much because it's likely going to be a low-scoring defensive struggle. We said all along since he was drafted that Bo Nix, is impressive as he might look out of the gates, he's going to have rookie moments. I didn't think they would come in Week 1, and I didn't think they would come to this extent, but they are going to happen. Tough test again, tough environment, tough ask for a rookie on the road. Not an easier test against the Steelers defense in Week 2. Fortunately, they come home. We have the meet and greet, Chad. We have good juju coming. It will get better. Don't jump off the ledge quite yet.
Yeah. Was it disappointing? Absolutely. But in defeat, let's try not to make more of this than what it is. Taylor Christensen, what's up, brother? Defense, he says, looked great in the first half, and that's that for positives for today. The rest was a disappointment. Not only Knicks, but the running game was bad. Yeah, it was bad. And here's one of the things that we unfortunately had to learn through experiences. The Seahawks were one of the worst rushing defenses in the league last year. But that was then. This is now. This is not only a new season, some different personnel, Zach, but a different defensive philosophy and coach and just outlook and play caller that clearly made a difference. And I'm sure Sean Payton and his coaches were coming out of this going, man, we expected it to be good defense. It is Mike McDonald, but did you expect it to be like completely 100% smothering? I mean, honestly, Zach, the only breathing room that the defense gave was that garbage time rushing touchdown Bo Nix got. Everything else, it was like 2-yard dunk off, tackled, 3-yard tackled. Nobody could make a guy miss. And maybe, Zach, that's also a little bit of a rude awakening for this Broncos team. You're lacking the playmakers, and maybe those chickens are starting to come home to roost.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks really did have the perfect game plan. Keep everything short of the sticks, make one of the Broncos receivers down the field, beat you, double cover Cortland Sutton. And who's your second option if you're Bo Nix? Josh Reynolds or Marvin Mims, Greg Dulcich? Those are a step down from from Cortland Sutton. But again, you got to credit where it's due, Chad. I think Seattle was more prepared. They wanted it more, and they played better than the Broncos did. Though we have to give credit, though, the Broncos special teams, and this goes back to last season. I know it's a moral victory here. Mike Westhoff, Ben Kotwika, the ghost of Brock Olivo and Tom McMahon no longer haunt us, Chad. At least we have that going for us, which is nice.
Exactly. Guys, we're going to dive right back into the conversation and the show, but I want to give a shout out to a new company here in Denver, in the Mile High City, that we're all really excited about. It's called FanDay Nation. This jersey, all right, FanDay Nation was started by our good friend and Broncos fan, Mike Evans. Started as a super chat superstar in our community, became one of our great staff writers here at MHH, and now has his company rolling. It's phenomenal stuff. FanDay Nation has the most authentic, high-quality Broncos merch that you're going to find anywhere. And as we all know, the season has just started. We've got the Mile High Huddle meet and greet coming up next week. So now is the perfect time, Zach, to shop and gear up for the game.
Absolutely. FanDay Nation has T-shirts, hoodies, and jerseys for all your favorite players, whether that's Pat Surtain or Bo Nix, Chad.
Absolutely. And here's the best part. Right now, they're doing a giveaway for a free Bo Nix jersey. Just head over to their site, fill out the form for a chance to win.
The giveaway ends on September 15th, so if you want to enter, go to denverfootballfan.com. That's denverfootballfan.com.
We'll drop the link in the chat, but guys, give them some support. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. Everything is NFL. This is not like some cheap knockoff swag. You know, this is legit NFL licensed gear. You're going to want to check it out. Just drop the link in the chat. Check them out. Jasmine with a very generous super chat. We love you. The ladies of MHH showing out once again, leading the way. And I follow Jasmine on Twitter, so I saw her tweets throughout the day. Very measured, just like her take right here. Everyone needs to relax. They will get better as the season goes on. Bo will settle down, and the receivers will step up. Zach.
They're going to have to step up, Jasmine. Again, who do you have behind Cortland Sutton? You invested a chunk of money into Josh Reynolds. You invested a second-round pick into Marvin Mims. You drafted Bo Nix's college receiver, Troy Franklin, who didn't play today. So I do have optimism, and I do think you're right. Bo Nix, hopefully this is the worst game he played all season. That's the best-case scenario here. But the receivers and the lack of separation, which goes back to last season, is a problem for me, and it was glaring today, Chad.
And look, I get it that Sean Payton and another one of our great ladies of MHH and Mount Rushmore members here, Michaela Parker, jumping in to say, I'm very disappointed. Play calling was atrocious. I think this was more on Payton than Nix, and she might be right. But it's also a very good reminder. Sean Payton loves the big 6'4", 215-pound wide receivers. They have their place on the boundary, but you have to be able to mix that up. Like, you need to be able to have some guys on the field, Zach, that have some short area twitch and burst. Like, if this wasn't an absolute telegraph to the world of get Marvin Mims in the game, involved, figure out ways to get him the ball. Look, he didn't have any big breakoffs in the return game in this one, but we know what he's capable of doing. This, to me, was one of those lessons coming out is, hey, and granted, Zach, I'm catching myself as I'm saying this. Look, not every defense is, almost none of the defenses, as good as some of these opponents are going to be, all right, almost none of them are going to be that perfectly sound as tacklers and schematically. Like, that was almost a completely perfect defensive game in terms of, Zach, scheme and execution coming together to form a W. So, there are some lessons to be taken from that, but one of them to me, Zach, is we talk about, again, the lack of playmakers. Well, how are you using the playmakers that you have?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And, Michaela, thank you again so much as always. I feel like after a loss like this, Broncos country is going to be in one of two buckets. It's either going to be Sean Payton's fault or Bo Nix's fault. It doesn't have to be black or white. It can be gray. Sean Payton wasn't on the field throwing picks or throwing near picks, and he wasn't the one calling plays, Bo Nix, either. So it's both of them. It wasn't their best performance, and we have to have hope, Chad, that the best is still yet to come.
We've got right wing nut job jumping in with the handle of the day. Thank you for the super chat, big dog. Another year of questionable QB play and a defense that can't make a play when you need it. I can't take this crap for another year. I know, but again, guys, look, if you're looking for the podcast that's just going to be woe is me and completely just like give up, it's over. Bo Nix is a bust. Sean Payton should be fired. This is not the podcast. All right. And those of you who are religious listeners and members of our community, by now you should have known that. That's not to let Zach people off the hook. We're not trying to make excuses, but guys, this is the first game of the season. It's also the first start in our rookie's hit. I mean, it's his first NFL start. And not only is it his first NFL start, but tell me what quarterback, whether it's a rookie or not, like when a defense is executing that well, I mean, it was almost like they were possessed, dude. They were like playing inspired ball for their head coach. And if that head coach can manage to keep his guys as mentally tough and prepared and just intense and on the ball as they were in this season opener, they're going to have themselves a season. Now, do I expect that to happen? No, but time will tell. Riptide, we've been keeping things in perspective for 8 years. I know. And yet here we are, right? So what are you going to do? What are we going to do? We going to just, tear the house down? And I'm not. I mean, I'm here for it. But you got to try to have some perspective, or else Riptide, it's like, bro, what are we even doing? You got to keep it a little bit in perspective. That doesn't mean you're not disappointed. That doesn't mean you're not angry. We feel that too, dude. But balance it with what we know so far. Forget the last 8 years. What do we know so far? What did we see today? That was a tough sled, and I don't care who the quarterback was. And Bo Nix does need to be light years better than what he was, but my gosh, I got to tell you, Zach, I was surprised at how well that rookie head coach had his defense rocking, dude.
Yeah, well, we have a $4.99 super from Ryan. What's up, Broncos country? Thank you so much, Ryan. I feel like that's a newer name as well, Chad. So welcome, Ryan.
What's up, dude? Our main man.
Appreciate you hopping in. I feel like our wide receivers had no shot against the secondary. Did Mims play much at all? Thanks for hosting, bros. Chad, you probably have the stats pulled up. I didn't see much of an impact from Marvin Mims, and that's what I'm talking about before. Diamond Rattler, $2 super. Sai, Goose Fraba.
Exactly, dude. And I don't have the snap counts quite yet. Let me double check it here and see if the Broncos have sent that out to us yet.
While you're doing that, Chad, I'll make one more point about Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Did anyone really expect him to be flawless in this game? Scott and I went over it last week, and we predicted about 220, a touchdown and a pick, or 2 touchdowns and a pick. Did anyone expect him to have a flawless rookie season, never have any rookie moments? Did anyone expect the Broncos to never lose a game this season? You'd be delusional. It's going to happen. Would we have liked to see them win this game? Absolutely. I could speak for myself. But they were going to lose games this season. This happens to be one of them, and it's how they come back from a loss that will tell you everything you need to know about Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and the 2024 Broncos.
So for what it's worth, we don't have the snap counts yet. And by the way, excellent take. Everything you just said on the money. We don't have the snap counts yet, but here's what I got by way of stats for Marvin Mims offensively. 1 target, 0 receptions. So for what it's worth, Josh Reynolds led the way target in reception yardage, 45 yards, but Sutton was force-fed the ball. 12 targets. Both picks that Bo Nix threw came in double coverage, and in the second one, triple coverage situations, trying to force the ball to Sutton. This is another one of the lessons that the film will teach. And Bo Nix has the best teachers, guys. It's going to trust on this is, look, you can't be so like, I got to get Cortland the ball. And then when you do have a bad play, you can't be going up trying to apologize. Like, just get back on point. Because if you're apologizing, Zach, you're living in the past. You got to be moving forward to the next play. Steve Hale, Bo Nix is going to be able to, I missed it. Bo Nix is going to be able to take a lot from this one. I felt Sean Payton tried to take care of him too much with the play calling, was mostly disappointed in letting Walker own us in the second half. Yeah, that was the dagger. That was absolutely the dagger. But yeah, I mean, one of the things too with the play calling, Zach, is that short stuff early on when Sean Payton realized, okay, these guys are playing tight and they're tackling. Let's try and loosen them up with some over the middle stuff. You had a combination of off target throws by Bo Nix and receivers just not catching the ball. So unfortunately, like that aspect of it was a collective failure.
If I seem jittery, I'm sorry. There's a fly that's buzzing around. That's super annoying.
You
had that problem. Yeah, you had that problem a few months ago. Really quickly, I know we have a lot of supers waiting. I want to make one point before we get to Jordan. Chad, you said something that kind of just resonated with me about Cortland Sutton and force feeding him the ball. Where have we heard that before? The Russell Wilson years. Why do we hear that? Because the Broncos had no other tangible playmaker except for Courtland Sutton, which goes back to the point. I'm not saying they have to go out and trade for McCaffrey. I'm not saying it's feasible, but the Broncos are lacking star power on offense. They need one more elite game breaker.
I agree, man. I was a little bit. We're going to do some rapid fire on Super Chat here in just 1 second, but I was initially disappointed by Josh Reynolds for what it's worth, and then he all of a sudden just bounced back, and he and Vele became the most reliable targets for Bo Nix. But again, Reynolds has a little bit more foot speed and twitch to him, and perhaps, but both of them are outside kind of boundary possession receivers. You're going to need guys who can twitch a little. Jordan jumps in. Good to see you, buddy. Says, it's me again, Mr. Must Win. Now that Denver lost the first of the immediate get-back games, next week's matchup a must-win. Peyton can't go 0-2 no matter the glimmers of promise. So this is a great question. Is it must-win? No. Is it crucial? It's absolutely crucial, Zach, because if you look at that first slate of games, all right, the first quarter of the season, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't categorize any road game as one of the games that you have to win. But a home game, the home games, regardless of the opponent, those are the games you got to find a way to come out on top. And hopefully the MHH meet and greet being undefeated, all right, a perfect 3-0, some of that juju, let's hope, can wear off on Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Jeremiah says, only week 1, it feels more like the same, though. Broncos for life.
Hey, we got Naj hopping in. I want to just say, Chad, really quickly, it's not a must-win because they wouldn't be eliminated from the playoffs if they lose next week. But morale-wise, how could you let Russell Wilson come into your home opener with your new shining rookie quarterback and beat them? It's a must-win from a morale sense. But Naj, 1999 Super, thank you so much, Naj, as always, a foundational member of the podcast. Hey, brothers, tough loss, but I like how Nick's hung in there. Peyton's game plan was mediocre. The screen said Jaleel were atrocious, and not using Javonte enough early was disappointing. Just have to stay positive. Yeah, it seemed like they were just spinning the wheel with Jaleel, the screens, the dump offs. They didn't have nowhere to go down the field. They didn't have anything down the middle they could use. That's the Sean Payton staple, Chad, that we like it when it works, the running back dump offs, but we hate it when it doesn't.
Straight up, dude, if you don't get the running game going, it's going to be a long-ass season for Bo Nix and for Broncos country. Like, you got to find a way. And I'll echo what Scott says in our private chat here. Russ, in case you missed it, he did not play today. He had that calf he's dealing with, ended up being Justin Fields in a kind of weird game. They ended up winning in Atlanta. Atlanta's offense looked atrocious with Kirk Cousins. But anyway, we don't know who that quarterback's going to be. Now, maybe Mike Tomlin, Zach, has already said that it's going to be Russ, and I just don't know it yet. But we shall see whether it's going to be Russ or not. Honestly, either one, I'm not too worried about them. Honestly, either quarterback, especially if that defense plays the way it did today. I know people are disappointed by the second half, but guys, how you can't be absolutely 100% perfect, unlike, I guess, the Seahawks, right? But still, I don't blame this loss, Zach, on the Broncos letting Walker loose in the second half. I honestly blame it on the Broncos' inability to have an answer for how the Seahawks defense decided to game plan and scheme up Bo Nix.
Yeah, the offense lost this game today, and you can argue the coaching. It really wasn't the defense. We have The Rock, Michael Ronquillo hopping in. Good evening, Chad and Zach on the MHH podcast. Gut reaction, go Broncos. Thank you so much, Michael. We have Phil chiming in. Good afternoon, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. Offense needs time. I am okay with the game. Knicks will improve. Buckham, MHH for life, and BFL. Thank you, Phil. Brandon chiming in. Looked worse than I anticipated, but we knew this was going to be rough. That's the point I was making, Brandon and Chad. He was going to have his rookie moments. The Broncos were going to lose games. It wasn't going to all look pretty. It was going to be ugly. Today was an ugly one.
I don't think it's as much that we slept on Bo Nix being a rookie. I'll speak for myself, as much as I slept on Mike Macdonald having that defense already firing on all cylinders. Now, you could say, well, they had it easy. They're going against a rookie quarterback to open things up, and there's some truth to that. But, man, it's unfortunate the Broncos, their counterpunch just simply didn't do the job. They couldn't figure out how to land those counterpunches. George, we need to do something about the defense. VJ needs to go. I heard that from another longtime member of our community, George, in a private DM. He's like, VJ needs to go, or I'm not watching another game. VJ's not going anywhere, guys. Just so you know, like, VJ's not getting fired
Zach, in a game that, just for the sake of posterity here, take it to team stats. I mean, the Seahawks only had 300 total net yards. All right. It's not like this wasn't some kind of recapitulation of the Dolphins game last year. Cody Dubb, special teams looked awesome. Just about every QB's first start has looked like this. Manning, Stroud, even Elway. Hell, Elway was benched. Hashtag growing pains. Exactly. That's part of keeping things in perspective. Now, we as Broncos fans, Zach, don't want to hear it because it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years of trying to, as I forget now, sorry, who said it, talked about keeping things in perspective. What he talked about? It's been 8 years of the same. I get that. I do. I get it. All right. But it doesn't distract or take away from the realities of what that last comment was. Chris Hernandez, what's up, bro? One of our bona fide super chat superstars, Mount Rushmore, going all the way back to year one of the pod. Symbolic as every gut reaction is, that super chat is going to correspond directly and specifically to the Broncos point total. And he says, does Chris, rough start to say the least. I hope to see improvement from the team and Knicks next week and to get that MHH boost. Amen, brother.
Yeah, and going back to the Steelers, I mean, Russell Wilson traveled with the team to the game. He was ruled out for it, but I'd be surprised if he didn't try to go. Just, again, the revenge factor. He's petty. It's not the quarterbacks. That's the point that you were making, Chad. It's not Fields or Russ that I'm worried about. It's number 90 on that defense and the Pittsburgh defense overall. That's what I'm terrified of next week.
I also take some encouragement, guys, when we look for like positive silver linings here. I take some encouragement from now the second half of the fourth quarter. I stopped being like as every single play because I was getting the stream set up, so I might have missed a couple of things, but I'm pretty sure that the two sacks that the Seahawks had, yeah, that's exactly, were both Bo Nix scrambling and running out of bounds short of the line of scrimmage. He wasn't sacked. And that's not to say that there wasn't some pressure. There was. I'm a little bit anxious, Zach, to see what the timetable is in the prognosis of Garrett Bowles at left tackle. We had Matt Peart come in and, I guess he was solid. He was there for that garbage time touchdown and some of the late stuff. But Franklin, what's up, bro? He says, do not turn on this young QB. Knicks experienced the game full speed, and it showed. Give him time to adapt. Also, a loss is good. Knicks can't be happy with his debut. Now let's see how he responds next week. Zach, kind of echoing what you said, how they bounce back from this will tell us a lot.
I agree with every point that Franklin made here, except that a loss is good. A loss is never good. And, we could talk about moral victories or learning from it and adversity. And I made that same point, but losing is never good. You wanted the Broncos to win this game. And admittedly, Chad, and this is coming from one of the bigger Bo Nix fans on the planet, you wanted your rookie quarterback, the 12th overall pick, to look a little better in week one.
Yes, definitely. We're all a little to differing degrees. We're all disappointed by what we saw. But let's not trip too hard yet, okay? BNS, longtime member of the community. What's up, bro? He said, Pookie stinks. And then Bo is learning. Chin up, everyone. I got to agree. So I was disappointed in Javonte. I get what Naj was saying. You didn't feed him enough early to get him into a rhythm because Pookie is very much a rhythm-type runner. But he just doesn't have that twitch anymore, dude. And whatever twitch he had that rookie year, it's just not there, man, despite, at least so far. Similar to what we saw from Bo Nix and everything else. I'm not trying to jump to too many like fully lasting conclusions here, but I was disappointed by how Williams looked in the opportunities he got. I mean, for what it's worth, and yes, Nathan, nothing but growing pains for Nix, hashtag Believe. For what it's worth, Pookie finished with just 23 yards on 8 carries. Jalil led the way in terms of touches, 10 carries for just 27 yards. Audric Estime, by way of that explosive first carry where he leapt a dude and then fumbled, he had 14 yards on 2 carries. So he had the best rushing average amongst the running backs, but it was only 2 carries at.
And what did we say in the weeks leading up to this game and for the whole season in 2024 for Bo Nix? His best friend is a dominant rushing attack. And that's what I wanted the Broncos to have in week one, is just pushing the line forward, not setting up 2nd and 7, 3rd and 9 like we saw today. It didn't happen. And I think you might be right. And whether other people are saying might be right, Pookie, more of an RB2 than an RB1. Hate to say it.
There's 2 other things I was disappointed in. I tweeted about this before I grabbed David here, and we will get to every super chat before we dip out. Trust on that. You know this, guys. But two things that disappointed me. One, that second would-be Walker touchdown in the second half that was called back, all right, where he dives over. Patrick Surtain pulled up on the goal line. Now, he's probably still scoring there, even if Pat goes full speed and tries to collide and stop him. But he pulled up. How many times, and I get it that it's the exception to the rule, but it happens. This is why you don't stop until the whistle is blown. How many times have you seen a runner in the NFL or even in college football? They think they've got it, man. They're about to cross. But one guy's like, no. And he just won't give up. He makes the play, either catches up to him or lays the hit, and the ball comes out, fumbled out of bounds, touchback. You can't give up on plays like you saw Pat do in that. Now, thankfully, that was called back, but it was emblematic of something that as a young team captain, I did not like seeing. And the same can be said for Courtland Sutton also in the second half. If you think back to that third down play, short slant, he was clearly interfered with on that bump and run. All right. He's complaining, almost trying to oversell it. And Bo Nix actually still put it on his granted inside hip. All right. He still could have caught that pass and moved the chains if he was focused on catching the ball instead of trying to sell and complain on a flag that he never got. That's another lesson here. It's like, look, dude, all you can do is control what you can control. You can't control a judgment call from a ref on the sideline, but you can control whether you catch that ball. He was still in position if he would have had his eye on the prize. Like little things like that, it's loser mentality stuff that is still kind of permeating this team from the years gone by, these preceding 8 years. And these coaches got to disabuse these captains of that kind of behavior.
Yeah, and it was like Sean Payton punting on 4th and 1 in the second. I forget the exact situation, but it's not the you could control your want to, Chad. You could control how much you want this game and how prepared you are. And it just seemed like the Seahawks, especially in the second half, wanted it more. It happens.
No doubt. David, let's remember, people put high expectations this year because of the preseason, and it's still a rebuilding season. Yeah, I mean, that's true in a sense, but I'm not even ready to go there, dudes. I'm not ready to just concede, well, hey, let's all, gather around the campfire for another season of suck because it was billed to us that this is going to be a rebuild season. One game does not make me in any way, shape, or form kowtow to that at this point. Tex, what up again, bro? I agree, Zach. No playmakers, says Tex. Our receivers don't get open or make critical catches. Sutton's the only one, but where was he today? The whole team MIA today. And I wouldn't say that Sutton was making anything critical happen today. Are you kidding me? If there was a critical receiver, and this is going out on a limb, closest thing you had to that was Josh Reynolds, who made a few plays. He also had a drop, but he made a few plays.
And it harkens back to last season, because how many games did the Broncos win on the strength of a Courtland Sutton touchdown or a Courtland Sutton, miraculous catch? They would have been a lot worse if not for Courtland Sutton. But you go away from him, you take him out of the game, and Patriots X, you're right, because you're echoing the point that I've been harping on. You don't have anything else to lean on. Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, you can't lean on them. Greg Dulcich, Adam Troutman, you can't lean on them. You need another superstar or a superstar, because Chad, quite frankly, as good as Courtland Sutton is, he's not a CeeDee Lamb. He's not a Justin Jefferson. He's not a Jamar Chase. He's just a cut below them, and the Broncos have nobody else.
The Lady D jumping in with another very generous super chat. Thank you, ladies of MHH. Plenty of great dudes of MHH. Trust on that. But as you can see, Deanna also earlier with Jasmine, Michaela, just thank you, ladies. Deanna says, next week is what we need to prepare for. I think Bo will play a lot better. He knows what to expect now. Everyone needs to chill. Our team is growing, and we will win with Nix. Bo Nix is our future. Hashtag I still believe. BTG, that's right. Bridge the gap, Bo. Let's go. You got to bridge that gap. MHH for life. Thank you, my friend.
Thank
Gary
you,
Palmer jumping in, the GLP,
you,
one of our wisest members of our community. Been around a long time, knows what he's talking about. He says, now that his first start is behind him, Bo will get better, but the run is disappointing. Go Broncos. Got to get that run game going, Zach. If you're going to have a hope of microwaving Bo Nix's learning curve, can't happen. The microwave won't happen. I'll say it that way, without you figuring out how to get that run game going. And the Papa Bear too saying, good evening, Broncos country. Chad, Zach, Deacon Scott. He's sticking to it. Hashtag 12 and 5, Buckham times 3, MHH for life, Broncos for life. SEAL Team Knicks.
And, you really can't fault Sean Payton for not investing in the position. You had Javonte coming off 2 years removed from an injury. You picked up Estime. McLaughlin's a nice change of pace guy. You have Blake Watson making the team as an undrafted free agent. And like last season, Chad, the running game still can't get going. So you have to wonder, what is the problem? Is it the running backs? Is it the defenses they're playing? Or is it the offensive line? Or is it a combination of all three? But the answer has to come soon, because Bo Nix will continue to struggle if he's in 3rd and 8, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 9, those kind of situations with no running game.
Flat Earth Trini jumping in on Super Chat saying offense. It's good to see you, by the way, bro. Offense was god awful. We were not prepared. Why didn't they put Jarrett Stidham in the second half? Might have come back and won the game, because you do that. You just completely soiled your first round pick. Why would you do that, bro?
And Stidham ain't winning that game. I'm sorry.
No doubt. Let's not pretend like Jarrett Stidham is some savior. All right. 4 career starts. No. Lucas, what up, brother? He says, and thank you. He says, that was hard to watch. We have no leaders to compose our team, and our coaches disappeared. We have a talent issue. #tank for Hunter. #MHH. Oh, and the Panthers suck. Yes, they do. They're gonna be the worst. But Jess, what's up, Jess? Does Peyton get fired when we finish below 500? Which Peyton? Because I'm not sure which one you're talking about. If it's Sean Payton, no. George Payton, probably not. No. This is still a rebuild. And that's not me saying, so lean into the rebuild, except to, your fate, Broncos country, of your team sucking. What I'm saying is the 10,000-foot view, which the Walton Penners have to embrace at this stage. They greenlit Sean Payton to come in and say, hey, I'll try to make the most of what you had. But if I'm not seeing it, I need your blessing that I can blow it up and rebuild it in my image. And they gave him that green light. He did it. He gave it the old college try with Russ, and the team as assembled didn't work out. So they had to make some extreme midstream changes. And there are some downsides to that, not the least of which, Zach, is the fact that you're rolling with young guys. And we're talking about, hey, young leaders, this is how they step up. The only way for the young leaders to actually become leaders, Zach, these young guys who are named team captains, including Bo, I'll throw Sutton in there, okay, and I'll throw PS2 in there, is to actually go through the trial by fire. Hopefully you win more than you lose, but this is where the leaders need to be able to shine, which is, again, why I was so disappointed by Cortland Sutton and Patrick Surtain. Surtain was okay today, but he had a couple of unfortunate situations that affected the Broncos as well. So I'm not going to pretend like he was perfect today. Colby says, couldn't run. Is it still the O-line or the running back's fault? I don't know. Let's see. Let's keep that in our mind for a second. Justin Massey, the offense is atrocious. Where did Pookie go? I don't know if it was play calling or the O-line that was awful. Bo looked like Drew Lock. Lucas Kroll, is he hurt? Man, what a gut punch. No, he was just inactive. He was an inactive, a healthy scratch. You can't dress everybody on a 53. Jasmine, again, jumping in. Thank you, my friend. She says, if this was game 7, we should all be concerned. I'm disappointed as well, she said, but it's been one game. Let's give them time. Yeah, exactly. And again, NFL zone defense, Zach, is one thing, but as deployed by one of the best defensive play callers in the NFL currently, Mike McDonald, and executed by what we saw today, like I do have sympathy for Bo Nix. That was a much stiffer first test in the NFL than I think even Sean Payton probably was prepared for, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on moral victories because you don't want to lose sight of the objective being failed, and that was winning the game. But Jasmine, I was thinking this earlier, and you make a great point here. If there was a game to look like a rookie, it's game 1 and not game 14 or 15 or game 18, week 18, when you might have a playoff berth on the line. If this is the worst Bo Nix is going to look, or one of the worst games he's going to have, then let it come early and let him fix these issues going forward before it's too late this season.
The biggest thing is teams are going to say, hey, look at how much the rookie struggled against zone. And so Sean Payton and Bo Nix now have to be in a posture of expectation that that's what opponents are going to do until they show they can beat it. Now, it's not like this was some kind of epiphany for Sean Payton and Bo Nix, or let's just keep it with the coaches. This was not like some, oh my goodness, teams are throwing zone at a rookie. That's one of the things you do. It just so happened that not only did they do it well from a scheme perspective, Zach, in terms of how they timed things and disguised things and all that, but dude, it was executed again. I'll say it, as well as I've ever seen a defense tackle, dude. Like, they were so sound and so stingy. Every yard was dearly bought. And that's why I sympathize with Broncos fans who are like, yo, we've lived through 8 years of every yard feeling like it came at $1 million price. I get it, but just pump the brakes a little. Chandler, he is a rookie playing in Seattle against the solid defense with a great defensive mind. He will get better. Have some hope. Let's see how he responds to zone coverage, Zach, and then we'll grab Jason.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Steelers, the team they're facing next week, they run a lot of zone on defense. They have a great pass rush. It's another tough test, but Bo Nix has been crowned and credited with overcoming adversity and getting better, learning from mistakes. So hopefully we see less of a rookie quarterback in week 2.
Jason, what's up, brother? Thank you for the super chat. He says, good evening. Play calling seemed a bit too conservative. Maybe he was trying to protect Nix too much, not overreacting to one game, but expected a little better efficiency on first and second down. Exactly. Not only that, but you expected to see better efficiency on third down. That was one of the hallmarks of Bo Nix as a collegiate player. That was one of the hallmarks of what we saw from him in the preseason. Okay. But what you're seeing here, and this is very apt by Jason, is third down efficiency is directly correlated to first and second down. If you're constantly looking at, I mean, we know this, we've been living it for 8 years, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. If that's your regular look on the money down, we know how that ends more often than not. So again, it comes back to what are we doing? What are we missing on the ground game? If it's a matter of, hey, we just don't have the running backs, if it's the blocking, it's kind of hard to tell for sure 100% until we maybe see some game film and get more than one single game as sample size here. But regular Dave, this year is all about developing Bo. If they win, great. It's hard to put talent around Bo with so much dead cap. Let's build for the future. Yeah, that's a big part of it. You know, the price you paid for saying to Sean, okay, blow it up, because you had just given Russ a $250 million extension that he haven't even played it down of at that point. So you're eating that. I mean, think, what could the Broncos roster look like, Zach, if they had an additional $57 million to spend on personnel? That's one of the consequences of saying, okay, we're going to blow it up. But at the same time, Sean Payton got his quarterback. So you got to give it some time to kind of develop here, Zach.
Yeah, I just looked it up. In 2023, CJ Stroud's first game, he lost 25-9 to the Baltimore Ravens, to Mike McDaniel, who was their former DC. And to be fair, Chad, the expectations that we laid on this podcast, we have said over and over and over, 2024 is a developmental year. No one is predicting Super Bowl, no matter how good Bo Nix looked. Fewer people are talking about playoffs. It's a developmental year, and part of development is going through the losses and going through the bad and coming out better for it.
Well said. Well said. And I think the broadcast did a good job of illustrating that CJ Stroud comparison. Now, that's not to put Bo Nix and say, hey, that's what fate awaits Bo, is what happened with CJ Stroud. But going against McDonald's defense for a rookie and your first taste of the NFL, that's a trial by fire. And if you're great, if you are a great player in the making, let's say, if you're a great player in the making, you will learn. That was an education of a lifetime. We're going to do some rapid fire, catch up on some supers, because we're at about the 50-minute mark here. So let's catch up on some supers. Taco Tater. Sutton, 4-12. This receiver core is worse than Carolina's or New England's. My blame is this horrible receiving core that can't break a tackle. Bo isn't to blame. Okay, that's something to ponder. We'll come back to that. Mac 1981, what's good, big dog? Thank you for the super chat. What's up, guys? Been a while. This is Lubbock. Sky, is this Lubbock? I think this is Lubbock, Texas. Been a while. Hard to play in Seattle. Bo showed resilience. He is still a rookie. Denver's defense looked pretty good today. We will be fine. Exactly. It's a different animal, Zach, if your defense gets even a modicum of a complimentary performance from the offense.
Yeah, it's the same two issues, though. They played good in the first half. In the second half, you saw the run defense wearing down, and you saw the inside linebackers, namely Alex Singleton, get exploited in coverage. It's the same old drumbeat, Chad, from the last 8 seasons on defense.
And that's why people are feeling the way they're feeling, which is understandable. But again, you can't go running for the exits quite yet. It's game 1 of an entirely new season. Okay, Mac, appreciate you, big dog, and hope to see you at the meet and greet, maybe. I don't know. It's a trip. I get it. Zach, so many of the members of our community that we get to meet with and see on that great day that we'll be able to see next Sunday come from all around the world. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Larry, what's your take on Riley Moss? I thought he played well, dude. I thought he played well. And even that last play that was the dagger, that final third down that the Seahawks converted, man, that was just great scheme, dude. The rub, he was still right on him, dude. He was right there. I was actually, Zach, very encouraged by Riley Moss today. More so, I would say, than Patrick Surtain. And for what it's worth, Geno Smith was not afraid to throw at Patrick Surtain. So that's a thing.
Tough assignment, too. The Seahawks have 3 really good receivers. I mean, Moss was burned, I think, Chad, for that game-sealing third down from Seattle.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he had his rookie moments, but again, he's basically a rookie in his second season. He missed all of his rookie season. So a young player continuing to ascend, and hopefully he gets better in that secondary.
I just thought it was way more good for Riley today than bad. Angel Herrera jumping in to say, perspective, how? When Bo goes for 2 picks and no touchdowns, he did score a touchdown with his legs. Looking like Teddy Bridgewater out there. No, not delusional, but he definitely had a shot of winning. Yeah, I mean, look, despite how bad it was, here's something to look at. All right, look. Here's bottle half full, okay? By the way, this is sparkling water. Despite how ugly and bad it was offensively for the majority of that game, if you get that last third down stop that we were just talking about, that Moss got caught slipping on a rub route, if you get that third down stop, Broncos defense, you have a chance to actually come back and win the game with the final possession. You have a chance to do it. So there's a lot more going on here that is in the good than perhaps first meets the eye. But right now, I understand not everyone wants to hear that right now. The kind of people want to commiserate and focus on the negative, which I understand. We're a traumatized fan base, but that's what I'm trying to do, is help keep you in perspective. All right. David Wilder jumping in again. Elway's first start was also extremely bad. I'm just saying. Yes. And I get that, but it's just a tough disclaimer to compare any rookie quarterback's first start to a Hall of Famer. But I understand what you're trying to say. Fat Surtain. Okay. Nice profile pick. Everyone remain calm and Bo leave. Okie engineer. Vele looked good. I would agree. Vele's got something to him. Troy Franklin, healthy scratch for what it's worth. Hector Balderas jumping in. All the rookie quarterbacks struggled, talking about week 1. I wanted Bo to show flashes that he could be a good quarterback, and he did that with his rushing touchdown and that sideline. He had a couple of nice back shoulder fades, dude. Little back shoulder throws to Reynolds. I agree, Hector. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. And yeah, if you guys want to go through it, I mean, we could talk about, Zach, how dismal it was across the board for the rookie class, the quarterbacks this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hector, before you brought it up, so thank you, that Caleb Williams today, the first overall pick, he didn't look overly impressive. If you watch that game, Chicago's defense won that game. It wasn't Caleb Williams. I mean, this is, no matter who you are, what team you go to, how many expectations you have, you're still a rookie playing at the next and highest level, and you are going to be made to look like a rookie in some weeks.
Okay,
don't overreact.
Real fast. Brendacho, hold it just for a sec. Okay, number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, not going against Mike McDonald's redonkulous defense. Goes 14 of 29 for 93 yards, 0 tutties, 0 picks, 55 quarterback rating. Okay, that was your number 1 overall pick. Let me find this other cat by the name of Jaden Daniels. He went 17 of 24 for 184 yards, 0 tutties, 0 picks, 93 quarterback rating. All right. Was that it for today? Who am I missing? Because JJ, no JJ. Yeah. So there you go. Wait, am I missing? No,
Drake was benched.
Yeah, Drake.
So.
Hold on. Let me find Drake.
No, Brissett started for New England.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So Brendacho. So that's perspective. Now, how did Bo Nix? Bo Nix, final stats, 26 of 42 for 138 yards. Of the quarterbacks we just mentioned, the only one to throw picks. 2 picks, in fact. But he did have a rushing touchdown for what it's worth. So, Brendacho, something else people need to realize. We started last season 0-3. We still came back within an inch of a playoff berth. Even if it takes a few weeks to get into gear, all is not lost. Have faith and believe. Broncos for life, MHH for life. yeah, at this stage, guys, it was disappointing, but I'm not freaking out yet. I'm just not. BK just got back home from the game. It was loud. I can only imagine how loud it was for the offense. Our tackling was poor in the second half. Yeah, that's the thing, is we were sound across the board defensively in the first half. And then that tackling started to slip both up front and on the edges. And to me, Zach, it's a combination of two things. One, first game, endurance, conditioning, all that comes into play. That will improve, but it has a better chance of improving for the defense if it gets some complementary performance from the offense. So the better the offense starts to do, the less gas that defense is going to be in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, as annoying as it was in the third and fourth to watch Kenneth Walker rip off run after run and signal to get beat in coverage, the Denver defense was exhausted by that point. It's, again, it goes back to last season, 2022. You can't have them on the field constantly and expect them not to break down later in the game, Chad.
Antoine Curry, thank you, buddy. FYI, coaching staff, adjustments. This is on Peyton. Remember, 4 games will show us where we are as a team. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the super chats, Antoine. And yes, Sean Payton, I think he had a counterpunch. I do. 3 times? Okay. I just don't think that the counterpunch, they just couldn't execute it. Like, Bo Nix, unfortunately, that first half, when Sean Payton, Zach saw what was cooking on the Seahawks defense, whatever his counterpunch was, Bo Nix just wasn't. That first half, he was much more rattled. The second half, he actually looked, even though he still had that bad pick into triple coverage, he looked a little bit more, still very obviously anxious, still obviously not quite at peace and calm like you would hope, but he did look like he started kind of getting his feet a little bit in the second half.
And why is that? Because they were facing a big deficit. I mean, the game was pretty much out of reach. And at that point, Bo was playing loose, Chad. He was playing with nothing to lose. Whatever happens, happens. And when the game kind of slows down like that in those moments, you end up performing better. I think he was playing a little tight and playing a little nervous to start off. And who could blame him in that environment?
Antoine saying, hey, IU could be nice for Sutton right now. Yeah, I mean, you've got so many receivers that are Sutton. You know, Sutton's a great my ball guy, but how many targets that a wide receiver gets, Zach, are truly my ball type of targets? Yeah, that might have been a trade that, you know, obviously for what we heard and for what it's worth, Sean Payton said that the reports on what happened there were not correct, but let's just take it for what it's worth. It would have been nice to have Ayuk at this stage, but you would be without Cortland Sutton. So I don't know. You got to do this. It's one game, guys.
I'd rather take a running back again, like a McCaffrey, an elite player like that. But we have Ted Wonder, like $4.99 super. Thank you so much, Ted. Bummed, but not devastated. A lot of kinks to be worked out. The team and Bo will be better. Still can be exciting. Yeah, again, it's just week 1. I mean, half the NFL lost today and half the NFL won today. And we go forward to week 2. Let's see how the Broncos respond at home against Pittsburgh and Russ.
Eric Flynn with some stars on Facebook. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you. Ronnie Ray as well on Facebook. Awesome to see you. Naj jumping in again. Appreciate you, bro. Stoked to see you in 1 week. This is about as good as I've felt after a loss. Look, Nick's made a crucial drive late, and who knows what happens if we get the ball back again, if Moss gets that stop. Marvin Mims is who I'm most down on. We have no speed threat at receiver, and it should be him. Exactly. And why isn't it him? So it's still one game, so I don't want to freak out too much on Mims. But why is he not more a part of this offense?
It confounds me, Chad, and I've been saying it for weeks, and I know you have too, about this is crap or get off the pot time for Marvin Mims in his second season now, former second-round pick. He should be a starter, but he's not. He can't get out of the doghouse, and you have to wonder what's really going on. Is it Sean Payton playing his guys? Because I'll tell you, I don't love seeing Lil Jordan Humphrey on the field when you can have Marvin Mims, or you could have kept Brandon Johnson or Tim Patrick. You just need, like Naj is saying here, a speed component because you have enough possession guys like Reynolds, like Sutton, so on and so forth. Vele.
Now, didn't the Broncos trade up to get Mims?
Yeah, the second.
Why is he?
Second round.
You traded up in the second round for a Pro Bowl returner. So the question is, the implications for Mims are not great, but we need to find out from Coach Payton, why is Mims not involved? He's now in year 2. Lucas, trauma is trauma. I thought it was Locke and Fangio. Hey, dude, I know trauma's real, dude. That's why I knew about halfway through the second quarter whether the Broncos won or lost that game. And again, guys, take some encouragement from the fact that they were 1 3rd down stop away from having a chance to win that game. But I knew I was going to be spending some time being, a Bronco Freud a little bit on tonight's podcast, because we're all traumatized, including me. Like, I hate having that feeling, that here we go again feeling. It sucks, man. But we got to resist fully giving into it because the season is young. All right. Ronk, how did the center do for the Broncos today? All of them sucked as far as I'm concerned. I can't tell you till we get the film and examine some things, but they got 0 push. I mean, as a team, Zach, thanks to the Bo Nix scrambles, they managed to average 4 yards per carry. But again, McLaughlin, 2.7 yards per tote. Javonte, 2.9 yards per tote. And then you throw in Estime on just 2 carries. He had 7 yards per tote. But it was piss poor as far as I'm concerned. Ronk, great show tonight. Chad and Zach on the MHH podcast. The gut reaction. Bo leave. God bless. Bo Nix and go Bo Broncos. Man, the Bo puns, keep them coming, baby. We need it, Zach, in order to continue to Bo leave.
Yes, we do. And about the running game really quickly before we get out of here, Chad, and we are done for this evening. They didn't get pushed last season either. And the Broncos had a better center in Lloyd Cushenberry. So again, with Marvin Mims, you have to wonder what is really going on. Is it the personnel? Is it the scheme? Is it a combination? What is the answer? And when are the Broncos going to fix those problems?
Yes. And for what it's worth, Scott making the point in our chat, we traded up for Franklin too. Wasn't even active. So Franklin, look, he's not quite the Mims type of player, and he's not quite the Sutton type of player, but he's kind of an in-between guy. If I'm Sean Payton, I'm going, okay, who can I look at as a replacement for inactive? You got to find and get Franklin on the field there, because you got to find some kind of spark and guys who can separate. That's one of the things that is unfortunate about not having Judy. You needed to shed that cap. Goodbye. And he scored his first touchdown today. So congrats to Jerry Jeudy, I guess, in Cleveland. First touchdown as a Brown. But you could maybe have used some of that separation, route running. Sutton, man, it wasn't there today for Cortland. Every throw to Cortland, man, it was like razor. And granted, Bo was a little bit delayed in probably 70% of his throws. Just a beat late. It wasn't arm, guys. It was decision-making. Sebastian, thank you, bro. So generous, helping us close things out. Hi, Chad and Zach. Run game needs to help out better, and Bo Nix will be better. Bo leave, go Mile High Huddle. Exactly, guys. And in the same way that I'm telling you, don't go running for the cliff on Bo Nix just yet, or the Broncos season, I'm saying the same thing about the run game, okay? I'm not going to freak out just yet. I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned about whether or not Bo Nix is ready. Is the concern there? Yes. Am I panicked about it? No.
It's a good way to put it. I want to add one thing that I've been taught all my life is what you resist persists, Chad. And what I mean by that is if you keep dwelling on something, you're going to live in that reality. The only way to escape that reality is to let those thoughts go and those emotions go. So if you still feel like you're stuck in the same purgatory that you've been in the last 8 years with the Broncos, you are going to continue to feel that way for as long as you have those thoughts. Let it play out, chalk it up to one game, a learning experience, and see how they come back in week 2.
One of my favorite sayings, okay? I think applies here, and it's early in the season, but one definition of a winner is someone who never let losing stop them. Time will tell. We'll see, hope perhaps as early as next week, how much this loss is going to help Bo Nix and Sean Payton win more down the road. And you lose more, or learn more, Zach, from a loss typically than you do from a win. That's not to try and hang our hat on moral victories. The loss is a loss, all right? But these are the reasons why I'm not panicking about Bo Nix.
He also is going to learn by playing. So for those who wanted him to sit on the bench, this is actually a good learning tool for him. But that's going to do it for the MHH podcast tonight. I cannot believe it's already been an hour and 5 minutes. You guys have been incredible on the gut reaction. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a follow on Twitter at the MHH pod. You can follow the main account on Twitter at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out mhhmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can also find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, please, please subscribe, like, and share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Guys, love you. I'm not trying to make you feel like a crazy person for being disappointed. We're all disappointed. But let's keep some perspective for now. All right? Let's keep some perspective for now and see how Sean Payton and Bo Nix grow from this experience. This is also Sean Payton's first time starting a rookie quarterback to open a season. So, he's learning some things, trust along the way as well. But hey, a mile-high salute to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters tonight, helping us keep the lights on. David Wilder on a busy night. Rip Die, love you, big dog. Keep your chin up, bro. I'm right there with you. I'm bummed too. Keep your chin up, though. Tom El Greco, good to see you again. Johnny Not Bravo, Patriot Tex, The Lady D, Taylor Christensen, Nut Job, Ryan Main, the main man, Steve Hale. I bet you've heard that a trillion times in your life. Main man, right? Steve Hale, Jordan T, Jeremiah Back, the Naj Meister. So stoked to see you next week. The Ronk, Phil in Tucson, legendary. Brandon Williams, what's up, bro? George Fox, legendary. Cody Dubb, Chris Hernandez, absolute legend. Franklin, the Duchess, the legend. BNS, Nathan Johnson. Did I already say David Youngkin? Just in case, David Youngkin. Patriot Tex, the GLP, Jasmine, the Papa Bear, Flat Earth Trini, Lucas, Jess. I still never got clarity on which Peyton you were talking about, but we're out of time, bro. Sorry. The Triple C Colby, Diamond Rattler, Justin Massey, Chandler Howard, Jason Perrin, Regular Dave, Taco Tater in the hizzy, Mac, come see us at the meet and greet next week, bro. Larry Wesley, Angela Herrera. This is a long list. Fat Sertan in the hizzy, Brendacho, Okie Engineer, BK. Great to see BK back in the house. Antoine Curry, Ted Wunderlich, scoring everybody up. Eric Flynn, Ronnie Ray. Let's see. Got him. And Sebastian Walker closing things out for us. So much love and respect, guys. Keep your chin up. Zach and I, we're back tomorrow night for the aftermath. Going to be a lot said and a lot to talk about by then. So can't wait to see you then.
Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.